Hi, this is about the moccasin tutorial. Sorry, this is a little bit weird here. I hope this works. Okay. Okay, what I'm gonna do is, I know a couple of people are having a hard time to understand the other recording that I had. So I'm gonna try this again. So whoever you're gonna measure for the moccasin, just get them to place their foot on a piece of paper. I know a lot of people have all their different ways of making a moccasin, but this is the only way that I understand how to do my own. So I'm gonna have I just did trace my foot. Sorry, I don't have a proper thing to hold my phone, but trace my foot and then put that aside. And then so what you're going to do on this one, and then excuse my thing here, and what I'm going to do is the same. All it is just a piece of paper. Then put that to where the top of your toe is, straight down. And then go like that and press around your foot down to about the arch of your foot right there. So press down around really good. Even grab your pen, but you'll kind of see where it's marked anyway, like from the press down. And then just mark to the floor, the edges. Mark that. And after you have that outline of your foot, lay that flat. And then right where your arch was right there. And then you're just going to go around. You'll see the outline of your foot on this pattern. So you're going to go around. It's kind of going to... Oh, sorry about that. It's kind of gonna go out a bit because that's the measurement of your arch, like over your foot. So it's gonna kind of go out a bit more over here. And then leave that pattern as that. And then from that point, like the over top of your foot, and then to the back of your page, just go kind of out a bit. I don't like to go just straight down like that because when you're wearing your moccasins, I notice it tears my beads right here when I'm dancing or walking. So just go straight out with this. I just eyeball pretty much everything that I do. I don't usually measure. I just go like this. And then, oh, where's my sister? And then with that, I'm just going to cut this out. Then after I cut that out, I'm going to fold this. I'm going to fold this in half. Fold that in half, and then fold it in half again. And then that's where it's gonna give me my marker for the half. In half, like the halfway of this, and that's where I'm gonna get my part for this part of my foot right here. So I'm gonna cut that, probably like a couple inches, and I just kind of eyeball everything, and then I just from there, I'm gonna cut this in half, and I'm gonna cut that. The only reason I cut this back like this is so when you have this on your foot, when you're going to tie up your moccasin, this will tie a little bit snugger up here. When you're tying your moccasin on, it'll hug a little bit snugger, and then it won't feel so loose. Like I tried the one that goes straight out, like the straight cut. Everyone is different on how their preference is on moccasins. So everything I share is what I'm comfortable with on how I use my moccasins for dancing. So the only reason I cut this back like this is because it holds a little bit tighter right here. So I'm not worrying about my moccasins sliding in the back. And so after I do that, this is my actual cutout for my moccasin. And then especially if you're not sure about the cuts in the back, see, this goes right to the floor. How I press this down, that's going to go to the floor. And if you're wondering about the back, I usually do it to where it's right to the back of the foot, because when you're gonna go cut this out or sew this together, like you could probably add about ½ an inch to the back of this if you'd like it a little bit looser. So you could add about ½ of that if you'd like. And then, but anyway, this is right to the foot, like this one here. And then we'll go to the foot pattern that I had cut out of my foot. So what I'm going to do with this, I am going to cut this out maybe about ½ of an inch away from, but you're just going to round this out. I'll show you in a second here what I'm talking about. And so when you get to this part where you step down on this and see where my fat chubby feet kind of go out a bit, I'm just going to go straight down with that. So then that way it's not going to be like this weird shaped moccasin. And then once you get to the bottom of your foot here, leave about ½ an inch on the back. See how I did that? I just kind of rounded that off, but I left about ½ inch on the back of that. And then +2, you have, see how much space I gave, about ½ of an inch away from the edges. And then that's going to be your heel. So if you're not sure, when you're cutting out the bottom, like the sole, if you're cutting out the sole of your moccasin, if you're not sure, say this piece that you have, like you're ready to sew this together, I usually, when I'm cutting out the sole for my moccasin, I'll actually cut it a little bit longer back here. So when I'm sewing this moccasin together, I would rather have a little bit more than not enough. So it's best to have a little bit more at the bottom. So then you can just trim that away if you have to. But it's better than cutting out a sole that's going to be too small. Just in case. I always do that just in case, because I just would hate to have to cut out a new piece for that. So when you're going to go and sew these together, like, okay, when I'm ready to bead this, like say this is my pellon, right here, this is all I use is just this pellon, this Flexi Firm, or Peltex it's called. It's like a pressed felt. So I'm going to trace my pattern onto a chunk of that. After I'm done all that, then that's where I'm going to trace this out exactly how this pattern is. Then I'm going to cut this out from the FlexiFirm, and then I'm going to bias tape, oh, no, wait. After all that's done, then on a piece of paper, you're going to, or however you'd like your design or whatever you need to do. Say if you're going to draw out what you wanted to bead. So say this is what I want to bead, but I have my design on here. Even if it's just left plain, you don't have to do what I'm saying. I just wanted to get down that how to measure and cut out this pattern. What you do after that is totally up to you on how you want to put this together and how you want to bead your design. So what I do is when I'm done all of that, then I draw on a separate piece of paper what I want my design. I'm going to draw it on a piece of paper like this. Then I'm going to attach it to my stuff. Then that's where I'm going to bias tape everything double fold, extra wide. I'm going to bias tape this. Don't cut out any of this yet. So you're going to bead all of this first. And then that's when you're going to put it together. So when you're done and ready to put your moccasin together, you're going to line this up with your what you're doing. Okay, this is going to be the sole of your moccasin, and you're going to line that up. Oh, I don't have a good enough holder. You're going to line that up like centered. You're going to line that up centered. Make sure it's centered in the back, and then make sure this part here is straight across, because when you're going to sew this together, sew from the inside to the back, stop, sew from the top, sew out to the back. So just keep in mind that this is straight across, because sometimes if you're not careful, if this is not lined up right here right, and say if this is shifted a little bit from the back by accident, because this should be lined up like that, lined up. Because say if it's shifted just a smidget like that, and then you turn around and you go to sew your moccasin together, this is going to be shifted. So when you go to walk or set this, or you're done sewing this together, you're going to put your foot into this moccasin, and the whole top of your moccasin is it'll shift, it'll warp like that. So when you're going to sew these together, massive important, make sure that the sole of your moccasin is lined up with the top. Like from here, make sure this is lined up. Hold this, pinch this shut. What I do, I pinch that like after it's perfectly lined up where I need it to be. And I hold that. Make sure to keep checking. And then I start sewing. I'm going to start sewing from the inside. And then after I'm done, start back up top again, back to the outside. And then that way, double check to make sure this is lined straight across. So then that way, when you go to put your moccasin on, it's going to feel just right, and just, it'll feel good and comfortable. You'll know it as soon as you put it on. And then after everything's done, sew your tongue on first, and then your ties can go last. And then you'll notice the feel of your moccasin will fit good. But anyway, I really hope that made a little bit more sense than the first one that I did. And sorry, my phone is I don't have a proper holder for it to be able to do a tutorial. So I really hope this helped. All of this is just from figuring everything out the hard way. I did so many moccasins and everything, and I know a gazillion ways not to make a moccasin. So this is the best way that I know how to make a moccasin, a dance moccasin that fits good. And I really hope this helps. And everybody have a good day. Love you all.